What the is a skatecation? Well, you see, children, when the vacation meets a curvy and tall, beautiful skate park, they get together and the vacation takes its popsicle and just starts sliding it down the skate park's curvy. I often find myself waiting for the perfect situation. If this happens, then I'll buy that thing. When I close this deal, I'll take that trip I've been wanting to do. I know, I'm a weirdo. But when I allow myself a reflective moment, there's an unstated wrongness to that behavior. As soon as I start to explore that, though, I would get swept away in this flow of logistical reasons why I couldn't do that. But that wrongness, it kind of ate away at me. To keep it pacified, I would feed it little tidbits unconsciously. Oh look, I'm ordering a new dish instead of what I always got. I'm buying a different colored shirt than I normally would. I know, really daring shit. And it worked. At least at first. Then it got worse. And instead of making that feeling of wrongness go away, it just made it more ravenous. So I did what any red-blooded American male would do. I drank more. And I poured myself into work, hoping that it would just go away. And it didn't. I needed to say yes and stop waiting. And one major yes is the reason that you're actually watching this video. It was when my kids asked me if they could get out the longboards in the basement. I was tired, it was a long day, and I started to say no, and then for some reason, I said yes. I could have gotten hurt. They could have gotten hurt. It could have sucked. But it didn't. I got on the fucking thing and I couldn't stop smiling. I was playing. I was doing it because it felt good. That was the point of doing it. I mean, how the fuck do you forget to play? I don't really know the answer to that, but something fundamentally shifted for me that day. It made me feel free in a way that I hadn't experienced really before that. So about 2 years-ish later, I still don't say yes enough, but I've been told by people much happier than me that you need to plan to take a break. Otherwise the tidal wave of shit that life throws at you will just make it so it never happens. So I aimed high. Well, at least I aimed high for me. Jacksonville, Florida might not seem like that big of a bucket list worthy item, but it's home to the semi-sacred skate park Kona, which is kind of like this mecca of East Coast skate culture. I had a skate friend that had recently moved back to Jacksonville, and I was gonna stay with him, and everything just seemed to be falling into place. Then about 2 weeks before I was set to go, it just all kind of fell apart. And my ego started just spitting hate at me, and it was like, oh, of course, you somehow find the time and the money, and of course it didn't work out. But then I was like, hold up, I have the time, the scratch, I'm gonna go on a skatecation, So where do I end up going? Well, of course, the next best place, Raleigh. Wait, what? I know, that doesn't exactly track. Let me explain. I started looking around, but nothing really seemed feasible for a long weekend. My friend Nick Shear, which by the way is a damn good skater, suggested Raleigh. I kind of perked up when he said that there's 4 or 5 parks all within an hour of each other. So I thought, what the hell? Let's do this. Day one, Marsh Creek. So I kind of have to apologize about the footage, or lack thereof. I was so excited to be on vacation, and by some stroke of luck, I actually got to see Sturgill Simpson the night before, and I drank way too much. You're not really missing much on the footage. I was pretty much a sweaty, hungover mess, and I was barely able to skate around, but the park itself was pretty fucking epic. So it is a little run down, but it has this incredible huge bowl, which I barely was able to skate. I'll show you a little bit of footage right here. Alright, so Marsh Creek has this incredible huge bowl of It's massively deep, but again, I'm barely able to like stand up, so my my ability to skate it is somewhat impaired. I don't really have a whole lot of footage, like I said. This crazy like sphere in the back of it is just insane. I would love to come back at some point when I'm better and actually be able to try and take advantage of that thing. But the deep side of this pool, this is like probably 7, maybe 8 feet. The back side of this pool has got to be every bit of 10 to 12 feet. So just massive. To give you an idea of scale, check out the skateboard on that sphere. Alright, so unfortunately I don't have a whole lot more footage to show you guys. I was also just trying to really enjoy my vacation. It's one of the first ones I've had in a couple of years. So I was just trying to be worried about, you know, enjoying myself and less about getting footage for you guys. Sorry. So after riding around for about an hour, I got rained out, which allowed me to grab something to eat, a little bit of a rest. One of the skaters suggests the Factory, which is a really cool indoor skate park and has a skate shop as well as an outdoor park. So when I get to the Factory, the outdoor area is just super wet. There's like puddles in the bowls. So I go inside and start checking out the indoor park. The indoor park has a street section that's probably amazing if you're a little bit better at ollieing than I am, or just street in general. I think it's definitely worth checking out. And then I go upstairs and find this amazing beauty that you see right here. Oh, it was glorious. So I pretty much spend the rest of my time at the Factory skating this amazingly smooth and just beautiful half pipe. Yeah, I'm still hungover. Day 2, Apex. So day number 2, I hit up the Apex Park, which is this brand new-ish plaza-style skate park. It was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of people there, and I'm not the best street skater, so I kind of felt like I was getting in people's way. But at the back of the park is this magical old-school pool. Now, just for some reference, I've never really ridden a bowl with pool coping, and there was actually, luckily enough, another beginner there that was being coached by this experienced skater, so I got an incredible intro to pool skating. And let me just say, it was absolutely amazing. I'm so incredibly pumped. I basically spent the rest of my time just skating the old school pool.
That's a key.
God, that fucking, the centrifugal, I got into it and I couldn't stay on top of my momentum. It just like rocking. Oh, that's fun.
So it's hot as balls and I'm starving, so I grabbed some food. Afterwards, it still basically feels like the face of the sun. So I pull up my GPS and I actually realize that I'm not far from Dhers Action Sports Complex or some crazy name like that. Basically, it's a giant ass indoor skate park slash BMX playground, complete with its own foam pit. Did I mention they also have a pump track? Get there and I'm like a fat kid in a candy store, just like, oh my god, look at that, holy shit. I actually befriend a couple of bikers and they start to show me around, and I'm in this weird state of glee and nervousness because these are some of the biggest ramps that I've ever ridden. So in addition to these being the biggest damn ramps I've ever ridden, those frickin' metal transition strips at the bottom of the quarters are not what I would call confidence inspiring, so never quite got up to speed here to get on that. I only ride for about an hour because the amazing people that I'm staying with are actually taking me to see the Solo premiere. And side point, I actually really enjoyed the movie. So I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. I actually met my wife at Dragon Con. I mean, the guy that they got to play it, not Harrison Ford, but nobody is. And I really enjoyed the supporting cast. I think Woody Harrelson was definitely my favorite, but it was very entertaining. I went into it with like mild expectations and was very pleasantly surprised. End rant. Day 3, Daniel Dhers. So the third day I wake up and grab some breakfast. As soon as I leave it starts raining, but it doesn't really matter because I'm headed back to Daniel Dhers and everything's indoors. Alright guys, when I was showing you around yesterday I did not show you the foam pit, so this ramp is one of the more intimidating things I've ever friggin' done in skateboarding. It's narrow, you've got to turn to the right slightly to hit the center of the ramp around this big black resin ramp here. It's friggin' intense, I have to say. So this is my very first run at the foam pit, and get to right about here and you're shitting your pants. Here's another first-person perspective of what it feels like to get on the ramp. Here you've reached that all-important pucker moment. I will have to say, climbing out of this foam, as you can see here, is so energy draining. You just sink down like every time you try to find perches with your hands, arms. You almost have to like spread your body weight out. You see me using my board here in just a second. This will just give you a little perspective of how damn big this ramp is. I got you. So I'm gonna freeze the action right here and just show you guys how immense this place is. One of the things I would love to do when I get a little bit better is see this resin right here. What I'd love to do is air out of the half pipe right below it and just land on that resin piece and just do shit that I would never feel comfortable doing because there's about 8 inches of foam underneath that resin. So by now I've taken a few runs on the foam pit. I'm ready to start messing around and trying some stuff. So after that last climb out of the foam pit, I am bushed. Luckily though, upstairs there is this perfect mini ramp and I'm trying to get down my axle stalls, which at first don't go quite as planned. But then, after what feels like an eternity, I'm finally able to string some together. Even though there are quite a few feebles in there, it just feels like a great way to end a fucking incredible weekend. Thank you so much, Liz and Ryan, for letting me stay with you. You really made the vacation, because after I got done having fun skating all day, I got to come home and have fun with you guys. Alright guys, that ends my incredible skatecation. I still don't say yes enough, but when I do, it'll probably be one of the things I tell you guys about. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, it's a little bit different than what I normally do. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up button so I know to make more. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, then the little bell icon. That'll keep you up to date anytime we post a new video. And if you know somebody that would enjoy this, go ahead and share it with them, and you'll help us both out. Until next time, just get out and skate.